Hi, well, welcome to another episode. In this episode, how that thing didn't work, so I had to get everything else instead. When we were starting a vinyl decal business, I never thought I would make a standalone video for the compressor and the air tools and of their maintenance and what they essentially are. Yet here we are. Now, essentially, I went with nail gun and a stapler that's electric, and I was trying to put two pieces of wood together. Now, three of them died on me, and hence, instead of spending, in this case, 35 quid, whatever the brand is, on whatever the brand is, but 150 quid on the pneumatic system. First things first, there are three types of the compressors in general. The small ones that are called, I guess you could call them oilless. I'm not sure of the exact name, but they're mostly used for painting jobs, if you will. So that's how that works. Now, in my case, I need to operate a nail gun. For that, I don't need the very best, the biggest one, and so on. All I need is a working one, and with a sufficient airflow, if you will. Now this is supposed to come with an oil. Usually, these are not filled from the factory. However, in my case, I can see you'll find an item that's usually transparent to show you how much oil it has, and your filler cup, a twist or pull somewhere above it. Now, not only this oil will have to be changed after a very short period of time. It's like buying a new car or new anything. You don't run it at full power straight away. You let everything to rub together. Now, let's have a look. On the compressors, you'll most likely to find a condensation relief valve. It can be several different types, and it will be located always at the bottom of the device. Now, in my case, this comes with a regulatory valve. Basically, the tank, the compressor, builds its own pressure in the tank. Now, then you get another thing to supply a different kind of pressure, not different kind, different value of pressure. Value of pressure? That's how it's called. Basically, for example, this supplies, let's say, 120 psi or 8 bars or whatever. Now, your nail gun only needs about 80, although I'll check the manual and see what exactly it needs, but it should be around 80. Therefore, this is here to regulate the amount of pressure that's going out. Now, to finish the setup from brand new, we'll need to do two things. On this side, the item that I was inspecting before has to come out, and a device of a name that I do not know in English has to come back in. This is basically to let the engine be able to breathe. Okay, so this is a push-in thing. Okay. Now the other thing is, as it breathes, it needs air. Now, it doesn't like your or my air to breathe, so it needs an air filter. Now, the air filter is a disposable, I guess. You will have to replace it when you do your maintenance, because like any device that utilizes oil and has, well, an engine or a motor, depending on how you look at it, well, I mean, it has the piston and everything, you'll have to do the maintenance. Now, this is all good and nice. Obviously, you replace your filter, you replace your oil, and so on. But there is also something that needs to be done with the regards of the safety of the tools that you're using. Now, this nail gun, or any other nail gun in that matter, pneumatic as in air operated tool, will require a lubrication. Therefore, there are two options. The manufacturer suggests this, and this is why I do believe when I looked up what other people say about lubricating that device or any device that requires lubrication, people showed that they turn it upside down and fill it with however much of oil. Now, is this right? Well, technically yes, but that's not how you do things properly. Now, not only oiling is a thing, but humidity is a problem as well, because unless regulated, the humidity will rust your equipment. And in order to prevent that from happening, this is where you get your other things. Now, in this case, it doesn't have the pressure. It does have the regulation. In this case, this is the dehumidifier that will accumulate all of the humidity from the liquid, from the air, so it doesn't go through the system. It can be a standalone version, or it can come with the second option. This is an oiler, and you adjust how much oil you're using by this, and this is a secondary pressure regulation. If I'm not mistaken, it should be at least. Now, this is built in two ways, because obviously not every single item on your system will require the lubrication. Like, for example, I've got the kit here. This is your simply air gun. So you press this, the air comes out. Do you need oil in there? I doubt it. And for example, in this case, this is a tire inflation attachment. Do you need oil in your tires? No, not really. But in my case, I don't need any of this. All I need is this, and this is what you will see most commonly. The rolled up tube of sorts. They come in different diameters, and that will affect your flow and the maximum pressure and the operational values of your devices. So pneumatic, not the screwdriver, but the nuts. I'm not even sure what the tools are called. The one that you remove the nut of the car of the wheel type of device. That is quite dependent on the internal diameter of the tubes and so on. Now, essentially, there are several types of fittings, and if I'm not mistaken, all of mine should fit all together. I went with the quick release, if I'm not mistaken, this is called in English, and therefore the compressor itself will have the dehumidifier and the oiler first, which will have the attached air tubing that will contain oil to go into a nailer hammer. Well, not too far off, am I? Hopefully. Now you've got at least a bit more pressure in your system. And more on the topic is, hopefully now at least you know somewhat what is happening with your air lines. If you need any, if you need to build the system from ground up, if you need to purchase one yourself, then obviously there's some of the information. For example, pricing wise, the no oil ones that once used enough are just done, compared to serviceable oil ones, the price difference in my case was 10 quid. So for 10 quid, I can get 10 quid less, I can pay 10 quid less and get the no oil one that will barely do what it's supposed to do, or I can pay another 10 quid, get a manual with a diagram that lists all of the parts, that has them numbered, that has them part numbered, that has them named, with all of your cranks, cases, bearings, sealings, rotors, starters, and so on. So obviously that can be worked on. Speaking of that, part 23 is this. And I was thinking that was an inside, a gasket, if you will. Yeah, and it's just called a rubber gasket. Anyway, I'll let you proceed with your day, and hopefully now you know a bit more about this type of technology, and if you need any, then obviously you'll be able to choose from several options. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next episode.